Okay, for this project we'll be creating a fully responsive website that resizes on different devices, different screens, different window sizes. We will be creating this in Dreamweaver, Adobe Dreamweaver, and we'll be using the Bootstrap framework components to build this website. So a Bootstrap responsive website. We're doing this for a business or institution of your choice. For this example, I am creating a website for a barbecue restaurant. I've already created a barbecue site folder on my desktop. Of course, if you're going to publish this, you can work from your desktop, publish it later through a server. You can work on a local server or work on a remote server. You can also work on an external hard drive or flash drive. I've created my site folder. Within that, I already have collected and resized some images. If I know what size I need them, like for these 3 images I may use in a slide carousel, I can resize them ahead of time in Photoshop or some other photo editing software. I also have some background textures and images that I've prepared either through an online texture generator or just finding some background images or creating my own. Some of these other images, if I know I'm going to use in the same type of component, I want them to be equal sizes, you can resize them ahead of time or adjust them through your website. I also have a logo for my restaurant, and we'll also add maps and other elements. So that site folder is ready to go. I've already linked to my site through new site. So if I look up here, there's my barbecue site. So of course you always link to your root folder or site folder first. When I open Dreamweaver, my files panel should be up and I can see my site folder, my images, and you'll eventually see all the other elements here. For this, we should also have the DOM panel open. DOM. If it's not open, go up here to DOM, Document Object Model, and we'll see more about that in a little bit. We will also need our Insert panel, our CSS Designer panel, and our Files panel. These will all be useful panels to have open. Let's create our first page. File, New. This is going to be a new document, an HTML document. Instead of None, we're clicking on Bootstrap this time. We're going to create a new Bootstrap CSS. Now if you have an existing one, you could always attach those. We're not going to include a pre-built layout. Make sure that is not checked. Make sure this is not checked down here for extract from Photoshop. Double check everything. New document, HTML, Bootstrap, create new CSS, nothing else connected, and OK. Once again, we look at the code view. We see we have our source code, which will be in that HTML page again, which is linked to our CSS sheet. Now there's thousands of lines of code already written here for you, so it'll save you a lot of time. We also have our one main point. This is locked in Dreamweaver. You can unlock it up here by making it writable. I would be careful that we don't really need to do that at this point. Once you get used to it, there's certain things you may want to change on here, but you can always build another CSS file to override elements that you want to change. Good. We also have a jQuery JavaScript. We've learned about jQuery before, and you've read about JavaScript. You can see it's pretty heavy code in here. And you should, if you work your way through this, you can understand some of the code based on your readings this week. Now, I would advise you not to highlight, touch, or change any of this code. You may unintentionally mess something up, make something very unfunctional. Let's go to your Popper JavaScript. We have Bootstrap JavaScript. So several different files that will be very useful and essential to make your Bootstrap website work. Let's go back to the source code, which is your HTML code. Once again, head tag, title, and we can give this a title. The title shows up in the browser. Title bar can have capital letters and spaces if you want. I'm going to call this barbecue home. There's our link to that CSS sheet, our body tag. A lot of our HTML code will go in here. Here's our link to those different script files, jQuery, JavaScript. I would advise, once again, not moving around, deleting, or messing with any of these codes. Let's save this file. File save as. This will be our home page. We'll save it as an index, index.html, index.html, just like before. We're going to save it at this top level, and you can see Dreamweaver will add a CSS folder and JavaScript folder. Okay, we can also look at the live view and the split view. Let's look at the split view. We'll click on that body tag, and let's look at the DOM panel. Over here, HTML head, I can close that, and there's my body tag. Scripts down here, do not touch those. Let's click on that body tag and insert our first element. We're going to go to the insert panel. Now before we've used HTML, jQuery, forms. This time we're going to use Bootstrap component, and let's insert a container, a fluid container. And you can see Dreamweaver puts that div tag container right underneath the body tag. Let's click that div tag container to insert our next element. If I scroll down, I can find a navigation bar. Now you can make your own or use some of these prepared elements. I'm going to use this basic nav bar fixed to top. I'm going to nest that within the container fluid. And you can see it shows me the different buttons or links of the nav bar. This is where I can put in the name of my website. It'll have a search interface here. And if I drop down, I can see all those elements here. Those are the child, grandchild elements, and the nav bar is the top element. If this window gets smaller, it should switch to a stack. A little bit larger, back to the regular nav bar. Now I'm going to add a hero element, a jumbotron, a pre-made element, which should be a great start to our website. In order to do that in the right way, in the right place, I have to be at the nav bar parent level. A great way to access that is through the DOM panel. I want to make sure I'm not under here somewhere. I'm at the nav top level. So when I insert my next element, it will go after that, not within it, messing that up. So let's insert that jumbotron. After. Now if I ever accidentally put it within or mess things up, Command Z or Control Z on a PC, we know will undo those steps. Okay, so there's my jumbotron hello world, which will become my title. I can have a slogan here or a call to action, and it has a link. We can change any of those, but let's continue building. What we want to do is build the layout, add some content, and then eventually adjust the styles. Alright, we're on the jumbotron top level. Next thing we're going to do is add a grid row with columns. Grid row with columns. I'm going to keep it at 3 after the jumbotron. And okay, what the grid row with columns will do, we'll give you one row that goes all the way across the page, and then 3 columns. Within those columns, I can build other elements, add other elements. So if I look over here in my DOM panel, I open up that row, there's my 3 columns. I can click on one of these columns and insert other elements, or just type and add other elements through the code or live view. So I have this div row tag here with the 3 columns within there. They're nested within there automatically. Well, we're going to replace those with what are called cards. So I'm going to delete these so you can see how I can delete different elements through your DOM panel. Now I just have an empty row. But to function correctly, it would need some grids in there, but cards have some grids pre-made in them. So let's add a card, nest within my column, within my row. Instead of just inserting more cards, which could mess up your code, the DOM panel comes in very handy. I could come over to the DOM panel, copy it, Command C and Command V, paste another card, or I can right click, duplicate. What I could also do is with this selected, come to the code view, select all this whole card element here. Be careful so I don't go too far or start too soon or delete anything. Copy that, click here, hit enter, and paste that. And that will duplicate it also. Let's file, save all. Okay, it's saying that with the elements that I've placed in my website, these components, that Dreamweaver is going to have to add some more elements to my files, to my folder. And this will be an image, a placeholder image. Okay? With that saved, I want to preview this in the browser. And we can right click on the tab, open in browser. Let's go to Google Chrome. And there we are. So it's going to look pretty nice depending, no matter what size the screen is. Nav bar at the top. Hero element, Jumbotron, and my 3 different cards with placeholder images and text. You can see how everything will resize here. And the navigation changes to a stack. Okay, so pretty useful, pretty great pre-made framework elements in Bootstrap. Let's add some more in our next video.